baseball game, good crowd, the animals, the whole deal. I thought it was great tonight. Jamie pitched just fine. He had some leadoff traffic, I think, in 3 of the 5 innings, so that naturally puts a little more stress on what you're doing. His pitch count last week was not really increased just by the nature of the length of how long he was down in between the innings. So Micah and I felt that we didn't need to all of a sudden push this thing too far with the pitch count. He was absolutely fine, was pitching very well. They're tough. Like, they had a good plan. They used the bunt game. They used the run game, the delay steals. They did a nice job executing what looked like the plan of attack for them coming in. The 0-2 pitch, he had I guess they bunted the guy over, and I think he had 2 sliders to maybe their leadoff batter, and then he tried to run a fastball up and didn't quite get it up, and the guy banged it into center field. So that would be the only true damage threat, but it was an account where he's trying to climb that thing up and just didn't quite get it up there. Johnny A was fine in inning 1, fell off a little bit in inning 2, but when you have the depth, and we saw it on Wednesday night in Jacksonville, when you have somebody that's dynamic, that's waiting, that's prepared, that's capable, you have no reserve whatsoever with going to make that maneuver. And I thought Mason Martinez was the difference in the game from pitch 1. He had everything going. His fastball had some life, curveball, slider. He did use his changeup a couple times. And the energy that was provided through his pitching in the 7th, getting us off the field, I think it just relaxed the offense a little bit, and you saw us string a ton of at-bats together. And I don't know that I've seen a sequence of that many consecutive at-bats. It really didn't result in any more than one base at a time. But it was enough to score, well, I guess 4 runs maybe in that inning, so that gave us some breathing room. And again, I thought the crowd impacted that. You have the Noles cheer going, the animals are into it, it's loud. I thought the momentum and the energy that provided was a turning point for us tonight. Lodi's, the home run was big. We're just continuing to watch him just grow and mature as a hitter, and the physicality and the way he came and got the ball in the 9th inning, the little chopper that got by the mound to close on that and finish that play, as good as I've seen. Proud of the team. I did think the difference was clearly Mason taking hold of that jam, that mess we were in. But that's a competitive, good team. Their starting pitcher did a really nice job. Like, he had 3 pitches going. I think there's a little deception with his fastball. He did enough with the slider and the split that we never really could calibrate and do a lot. But it was enough to get a win against a good team that won a ton of games last year.
In that 7th inning, I think I don't know if you had a ball to the outfield that scored a run, but you kept putting the ball in play.
It didn't feel like it,
yeah,
I'll tell you that.
But you had a freshman put the ball in play, get an infield single, B.J. Gibson with a ground ball to get a run home. Sometimes it's just good to put the ball in play and get a run home.
Yeah, and if that's the way it's happening, you're going to have to string a lot together to actually open the game up. Happened a little bit to us Wednesday at JU. We sat a lot of runners, and I have no complaint in the bulk of it with the quality of the at-bat and the intention. It just sometimes doesn't always produce a ball in the gap or a home run. So you have to manage those things best you can, and if you pitch and defend, you can get away with not blowing games completely open. But again, I thought the quality of the at-bat was good. Carnes, I think we were first and second, nobody out, and kind of had the feel of a bunt situation, but it seemed like just watching him and knowing him, that was a time when he drilled that ball to center field. But again, it's dead center, it's not in a gap or anything. But yes, the extended number of the quality of the at-bats, still the longevity of that allowed us to score a crooked number.
Mason comes in, shuts it down tonight. Kinnear comes in on Wednesday, shuts it down. How pleased have you been with the mindset in these high-leverage situations when you call on these guys?
I love it. And they're trained to do that. That doesn't mean it's easy to do in this setting. No margin of error. Like, when you come in Kinnear's situation and Mason's situation tonight, like, you have to be on it from pitch 1. And that's the beauty of what those guys have learned to do. And by no means is this a completely finished product and that we're doing that every time somebody comes out of the bullpen. But, that's 2 games in a row in the most critical part of the game and jammed up. they absolutely dialed their stuff up, probably better than you've seen in training, scrimmages, or any of that. So it's great, and that grabs hold of the game, total control, and you get off the field, you almost feel like you've scored a couple runs playing defense and pitching.
How impressive is Mason's ability to spin the baseball with the two distinct breaking balls?
It's two completely different pitches, and he had complete control of both of them tonight. You don't see that very often. You know, some guys will try to tinker with two, and it almost turns into one that they're trying to make two. That's two different, distinctly shaped different pitches, totally different. Like the curveball's got good curveball down action, the slider's harder and has a different tilt to it, and then the fastball almost seems to play up a little bit. And he has learned to use his changeup when he needs it. I think he got one of the lefties to ground out the first later in the outing on the changeup. So that was a complete package of stuff.
Coach, you've now played in 3 consecutive close games. Just how important is this experience for the whole team to know what it's like in these tense moments in the later innings that can kind of help you go down the line?
Yeah, you know this is coming. And as much as I like how we've played, you're going to be in a lot of these. So it's a good learning moment. And I thought the poise with everyone involved was right where you want it to be. I really did. So you want to see that. I don't think anybody ever in and at bat looked unglued. I don't think anybody that pitched in the messy stuff looked at all rattled, and that's very important because you'll have more of these than you'll have the ones that are kind of broken open. I actually enjoy the ones that get broken open, so those are fine too. But you need to be comfortable in this stuff, and we try to create, for those of you that watch practice, all of the guys pitch in, we create like game situations. So I almost want them as comfortable in that as they are if it's 6-0. You know, that's an important part of just staying focused and task at hand and doing what you need to do to manage it, because ultimately the score and some of the other things don't truly have any impact on your execution, or shouldn't.
BJ Gibson got his first start today. Just how much has he grown in the last couple of weeks, and what did you see out of his at-bats today?
If any of you have ever seen a cassette player where it had the fast forward button, some of you younger folks may not know where that is. Well, we jammed that fast forward when he got out here for the spring. Like, it's fast forward, and learning the signs and learning the positioning and learning the base running and all of the things that we're trying to do. It's a lot. So I think it's finally at the point where we almost can just push play, and it's starting to settle for him a little bit. But I mean, that's a freshman, and he's a talented player on this side of it in football, and you can see the upside here, and he's still learning. You know, we have some good freshmen in the program. He's the only one that wasn't out here for any of it in the fall. And I talk a lot about the 3 Heisman Trophy winners here were multi-sport players. That's interesting. And I think it says a lot about Florida State and what we've been able to attract. I think the proximity of the facilities and the coaching staffs that work closely together help you attract players like that, and that's the reason he's here. And I'm happy he's here, and there's a tremendous upside.
How much left field has he played? Is that at a cut? You got to get it. Ball spins differently coming off bats. Getting reads is a little different.
It is probably the hardest of them, and here it's the biggest. Like, there's more space here. Most of our guys only played center field, and I just think most of your infielders only played shortstop. Most of your outfielders spent more time in center field. So it is different. I think the ball that was hit out there to him, it hooked, and maybe he caught that ball. It didn't seem like everybody was going crazy like they usually do for the review. Maybe I should have done it, but it is different. And I think when you're building the roster to be athletic, that's going to be more common that you have center fielders that have to go to other spots. That's just really the way I would prefer it, and I think that's true for him. He's played a lot more center field.